Here are my note cards. If I told you that there is a gift you can give away that is priceless and yet free to you, but will give you the opportunity to leave behind a legacy that will live on long after your passing. This gift is the gift of quality of life to another human. It's the most selfless and miraculous gift anyone could ever hope to attain. I present to you said gift, and that is the gift of being an organ donor. Cleveland Clinic defines organ donation as this. Organ donation is the process of removing an organ from one person and surgically placing it in another. The most common organs are the liver, kidney, pancreas, and heart. Organ transplantation is one of the greatest advances in modern medicine. All ages can consider themselves a donor. It doesn't matter if you're 2 or 102 or what kind of health conditions you may have. The Cleveland Clinic assures that anyone can be considered a donor. A deceased donor can save up to 74 lives. A single donor has the opportunity and the chance to save 74 people's lives. Unfortunately, the need is much greater than the actual donors. Unity Point Health published a report in 2016 that said over 124,000 people are on the waiting list. Of those 124,000, 5,000 are in Illinois alone. The Mayo Clinic published a report of this year that said over 20 people die a day because of the lack of opportunity to receive a life-saving organ. Now, there are many misconceptions about being an organ donor. The Mayo Clinic published last month a list of some common myths and misconceptions regarding organ donation. So the first one is that people think the hospital staff will not work as hard to save your life if they know you're an organ donor. This could not be further from the truth. Speaking personally as someone who works in a hospital, I can promise you that doctors and nurses and medical staff work together to put together a plan that will benefit your life, not someone else's that's in another hospital or in another state. They're working to better your life. You'll see a doctor who is specialized in your specific condition, and he will work with a team to better your health. The third one, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services assures that medical staff do not receive any monetary compensation for not saving your life. They don't get paid if you die. The second major misconception is that you can't have an open casket funeral. This also is a fallacy. When they take your organs, they cut a very small incision, take out your organs, and then sew it closed and conceal it. Your body is then prepped for burial with the utmost care and respect, just as if you weren't a donor. The fourth one is that people think if they become an organ donor, that means that someone's going to tear out your eyeballs and take away all of your skin and give it to someone else. That is also not true, because there's a difference between being an organ donor and a tissue donor. An organ donor is when you donate an organ, as I stated previously, your liver, kidney, pancreas, or heart. A tissue donor is when you donate your skin, your corneas, bone, etc. So you have the opportunity, you have the choice to choose if you want to be both or just one. You don't have to do both. Wilson Medical University stated that every 10 minutes, someone is added to the waiting list. And someone dies approximately every hour because of the lack of organs. These shocking statistics prove just how important donors are. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services announced in January of 2019 that there are 113,000 people currently waiting for an organ. Countless stories have been shared about how these life-sustaining gifts have completely changed a person's life. Whenever I worked at Southeast Hospital, I had the privilege of being a part of a Walk of Honor. And that is where people will line the halls as an organ donor who has passed is coming down in order to become an organ donor. This is what really made being an organ donor come real for me. It was very serene, it was very respectful, and it just showed me just how important it truly is. Fox News just reported a couple weeks ago about the man who met the family of the son's heart he received. The family got to hear their close family member's heart beat again for the first time in nearly a year. So as you can see, being an organ donor truly is one of the most amazing ways to leave behind a legacy. You're not going to need your organs after you pass. They're just going to sit and rot. So why not give the gift that keeps on giving? And death is not a subject that people like to talk about. It's uncomfortable, and no one really wants to acknowledge that they're not going to live forever. But I, for one, have the reassurance that after my passing, a part of me will live on to give someone else the quality of life. I hope this speech encourages everyone here to register to be a donor. Give away the most priceless and selfless gifts you could ever give someone. Give the gift of quality of life.